I like Hong Kong because it's small, it's always taking every excuse, every blank wall to make something creative, and people appreciate it, so it keeps going, it propagates. I'm not going to say another city's name, but you can go to another city and everything is grey or brown and concrete or brick, and it's like, okay. But when you go to Hong Kong, a walkway can be colourful. There's one in Yau Tong with like fish all over it. There's one in Causeway Bay that's round and has the colourful pink and yellow. Every excuse Hong Kongers have to make a boring thing look cool. But council housing is bright and colourful, and every building you see has some sort of mural or artwork on it. We have a lot of space that we use to create art. For me, I really like storytelling. So all my work often has a story behind it, or it's influenced by a story. For Choreopolis, the stories are musicals. There are two levels you can look at the artwork. You can look at it on the first level, which is, oh, it's musical theatre scenes, productions in Hong Kong. But the idea came from something a bit sadder. I have a lot of chronic illnesses and disabilities, and about 4 years ago, they were so bad that I couldn't get out of bed, and the only times I would go out was to go to the doctor. So when I was walking around, I would take photos of everything I was seeing, even if it was boring, just like a street, because I wanted to go home and draw it, because it was my only chance to go outside. And as I started to get better, and this was during COVID, so as the world started to come back after COVID, when I was walking around and feeling stronger and seeing everyone walking around for the first time after we had been inside for so long, it felt very magical, and all this life made me feel like it was like being in a musical, and it was suddenly colourful and people were walking together, and I suddenly imagined instead of walking together, they were dancing together or clicking their fingers as they went down a street. And so this idea came to take these photos I had of empty streets or walkways that I just had a quick glimpse of and transform them into musical theatre scenes. I just find Hong Kong very easy to get ideas from. It's walkable. I like being able to walk around and take photos and end up in a completely new place within 10 minutes. And I like that about Hong Kong because it's so small. You can find different inspiration on a 10-minute walk. I think my brain is just very drawn to line and shape and colour. It's the curve of a balcony, or it's the arch of a window, or if it's the way a walkway will go down in an angle. There's something in my brain that gets a lot of pleasure from seeing that sort of stuff. So when you see the artwork behind me, like the angle of the Sanshun building going up, or the angle of the buildings behind me, the way the boats come in, I really like how it looks and feels, and I can't explain, when it comes to knowing a city and being able to portray that city, I don't really know how to do it with anywhere else but Hong Kong. When I think about the spirit of Hong Kong, I think about trying to encourage people to just do one small thing. Every day, one small thing. I am a small person. I cannot do the huge things that I dreamed of doing when I was a kid. I am stuck in bed a lot of the time. I have an iPad. What can I do with these small things? I like to think of, there are different T's. So you can donate time, which means you volunteer, you help out. You can donate treasure, which is money. You can donate talent, and talent is when you give a skill. Outside of doing gallery shows and making my own art, most of my income comes from a company I started that makes art for charities. So I've worked with the Hong Kong Philharmonic Orchestra, I've worked with Equal Justice, the Women's Foundation, the Mission to Seafarers. There are different organizations in Hong Kong who do all sorts of things to help Hong Kong people. And even if it's little, I think when everyone does little things, it leads to big things.